All right guys, and welcome. This video is going to be a really special one. What we're going to do, we're going to go through in detail each one of the GCI Traytec electrical systems that we offer in our canopies. In this video, we're going to be going through all three electrical packages that we offer here at GCI Traytec. We have the Enerdrive Tourer pack, we have the Enerdrive Explorer pack, and then we have the Victron Weekend Warrior. Basically what we're going to be doing is, if you're interested in one unit in particular, jump to the timestamp on the screen here, or here, or here, wherever Anton puts them. And then basically you can watch that unit. If you want to watch them all, please be our guest, go ahead. And at the end, we're going to go through what electrical appliances each one of these units can run. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off at the very top. What we have here is our Enerdrive touring setup. We've cleared the other stuff off. We're going to run through the features of all this gear in front of us by Enerdrive, and then we're going to go down to the next tier, the Explorer, and then end up at the entry-level one, which is still a very feature-packed unit, but it doesn't have the tech and some of the really cool features that these big boys have. So look, first and foremost, these two panels here, they are identical except for this charger. This one here is out of the American platform, so anything which is a Ram, F-Truck, or even a 200 series Land Cruiser that runs a 2-meter wide tray, we go for a slightly longer panel because we've got that extra bit of space compared to, say, a Hilux or a Ranger, which doesn't have as much room because of the width's different. Our AC charger, which is this one here, so that's a 40 amp AC charger. This one is the same as this one, but because we don't have the room, we mount it up on the canopy, on the back of the fridge, just like that. So that's how they sit. We're just gonna put this one aside, but you just need to remember, these are the same units. Focusing on this weapon. Firstly, the design. All exposed wires are hidden. There's nothing which you can pinch or anything like that. So everything high current is completely hidden. You can't get to it without taking this panel off. So we've been working with Enerdrive basically since day dot. So Kane and the team up there have been really good to us. They've worked with us to design these. Everything's contained. If I pick this up, there's no wires anywhere that's hanging down. So all I need to do, once we get these back from Enerdrive, we supply them metalwork, we get everything back fully wired up, certified, it is ready to go. So we have all the 12 volt and AC power you could ever want in a canopy, comes out of this panel. So really nice features. All right, so I've jumped around the side. It's hard to point behind and not see what I'm looking at. So look, AC charger, 40 amp AC charger, obviously you plug it in to the AC power at home and then charges up your battery. 2 kilowatt transfer inverter, transfers anything from 12 volts to 240 volts, so all of our power points, or GPOs as they're referred to, will run off of our inverter. A DC charger, and also the solar input, so it's a 2-in-1 charger. You have dual inputs there, so one for your solar, one for your main starter battery, and then it goes one output into your battery. Down here we have breakers, so we don't run any fuses at all, so it means you don't have to carry any spares. You also have a very clear visual. If something's blown, you can see these guys here will be sticking out, or these ones will be rocked over like that there. It also means you can isolate everything by going through and popping all these breakers. It means everything's disconnected. So it's effectively having a main kill switch on the panel. Down the bottom here, we've got USBs, 6 USBs on this unit. It depends on how we want to spec them. Some have SIGI sockets in there because not everyone needs 6 USBs. So the front face, we'll spin it round. What we have here, submarine. So really, I guess it's common now in the industry that we're in to have the digital submarine display. You can have absolutely everything on there, connects to your phone. You can see what power's going in, what power's coming out, as well as state of charge, days remaining, you name it, this unit can do it. Solar out, Anderson out, and then Anderson solar in, and then 4 switches up the top. They come like this from Enerdrive because we have our custom engraved rocker switch covers, which means we can customize it to whatever the customer is using the switches for. So For example, you could have pie oven, drawer fridge, an upright fridge, and then your lights, and then your 4 channels used up. Most of the time you only use around 3, so you got 1 spare one there for sort of future growth of your canopy. All right, so that is the beast, which is the Enerdrive Tourer pack. That's the board that contains most of the brains and the actual physical hardware of the electrical fit out, but what else is included? So, Tourer pack, it comes standard with a 200 amp lithium BTEC battery. So this absolute weapon is enough power to go a long way for a long time. So the 200s is what we stick with. You can down spec them, but let's face it, if we're going to this much juice, you're gonna need a 200. Another thing to keep in mind, if you're running a 2 kilowatt inverter, you need a 200 amp lithium BTEC because these things can put out 150 amp constant power. Well, 150 amps constant power DC transforms to basically 2 kilowatts of AC power. So you need these two to be paired together. What else can we do? All right, shore power. Shore power is really common these days. What I mean by shore power is a 15 amp inlet. So you get a little RCD in there as well, but this one here is plug in at home, and then it means these connect straight up to your AC charger. It means you don't have to have your canopy door open whilst you're charging it up. So yeah, come back into the caravan park or even at home, plug it in, and your battery will be 100% charged, ready to go for when you get home Friday night and want to take off for the weekends. Moving down, we have our remote GPO units. So these are quite different, these two. So what we have is, because everything is done external to the inverter, it means we run CMS cord to all these plugs. This is a CMS cord, which is an AC charging cord. It means it's all plug and play. Limits the time the sparkies need to be here to certify everything. But yeah, this unit here, this is a rear one. So I've got your 2 GPOs, I've got USBs, and also just a SIGGI socket. We do have USB-Cs as well we can put into those ones. These go at the back for sort of your induction cooktops and the like, so anything at the rear right of the canopy you can plug into this. So yeah, at the rear, and then this one here is an infill panel which goes to the fridge. This little cutout here, what we do, there's a switch on the inverter which literally turns it on and off. We relocate that to our driver, or to the passenger side over here in that cutout. It means all of your controls are on the kitchen side, because 95% of our canopies, they're set up so your passenger side is the kitchen side, and then driver side storage, all empty. That is the Tourer pack, I reckon. That was a good little summary. Let's get the Explorer out. All right, so next in line, we've got our brand new Enerdrive Explorer pack. So this unit's first time we've done any videos on this. We've had a lot of requests for an Enerdrive system which doesn't have, I guess, the price tag and also all the components that the big Tourer pack has. So this is it. It looks very similar to your Tourer pack, but it is sort of down spec'd a little bit, but there's still so much in there. There's so much you can run off this. I guess after this, we'll run through what you can run off these units. So let's run through it real quick. What hardware is bolted to this board. The inverter. So this inverter is a 1000 watt inverter, downgraded from the 2000 watt inverter on the Tourer pack. We do still keep our RCD protection, so that's that mechanical safety switch that we've got to have in there to make sure you're going to be safe, you're not going to hurt yourself when playing with AC current. So we go straight from our inverter, the plug there plugs in, and then it goes into this unit. After this, we go back to our CMS. Remember this guy here? That's our CMS cord, which then runs to our GPOs. Because we've gone to CMS, it means we can easily put in remote GPOs. So same sort of system that we use in the Tourer pack, but it is, spec down a little bit, make it more affordable, but we can still put, get a lot of features in here. The other main difference between this one here, the Explorer, and the Tourer pack is your battery management system. So if I spin it around, remember before we had the Cymarine, the digital display. This one here, we've got the ePro Plus by Enerdrive. So that's a very capable battery management system. It's sort of the original one from Enerdrive. They still sell lots of them to date. We've installed it on here because not only is the screen a lot cheaper, but it's also the shunts and sort of the hardware behind the scenes. It needs to calculate everything. There's not as much of it, so it means it's cheaper again. All right, upgrades, what can I do? We can put in the AC charger. So If we put the AC charger into this board, you've effectively got exactly the same as the Tourer, except for smaller BMS and a smaller inverter. Not everyone needs a 2 kilowatt inverter, so we can put them in. We have the breaker already in there, so it all is protected. You're not going to hurt yourself or burn anything out. So yeah, no upgrades in this hardware, it's just the physical unit which plugs in. If we do put the AC charger in, it means we can run shore power. So the shore power plugs directly into the base of this charger. It means you can have that little flap on the back of the canopy, plug your 15 amp cord, or if you don't have 15 amps straight from the caravan park, you have a 15 to 10 amp reducer with another RCD to plug into house power at home. So that is the Explorer pack, really neat unit. The guys at Enerdrive have killed the design on this one. Very excited to see more and more of these move out the door as time goes by. All right, so the Explorer pack we saw before, the Tourer comes with a big 200 amp lithium BTEC. With this unit here, I don't actually have one here, it's not the best example, but it's a 125 amp BTEC battery. So a little bit smaller, a little bit more cost efficient than going for the big boy, but if you want the extra power, you can upgrade it so you can get that 200 amp hour battery with this unit. The other thing, which I didn't mention before, solar panels. So the Tourer pack comes with 180 watt solar, which we either mount on the roof rack of the canopy, or we can supply to you if you want to mount it on sort of a backbone platform on the cab. All right, and then finally we get to our entry level system, which is still a very feature packed unit. This is our Weekend Warrior. So this one doesn't run Enerdrive gear, it runs Victron. And it's also assembled by the guys at EC Off-Road and not Enerdrive. But we've done a full video on this one before. We've also given one away, which is a really cool thing to do. So yeah, let's run through features in this one. We've got our same 4 switches on the front. The Victron, I think it's a BMV 712 battery management system. Very similar to the ePro Plus, but this one does have Bluetooth, which goes straight to your phone so you can read exactly what's happening, state of charge, days remaining. And then down the bottom we've got outlets, so SIGGI socket, and then we run the USBs as well. So again, we can option them to sort of however you want. And then if I open it up, we can sort of see a bit more about this one. We've got 2 Andersons out, solar in, solar regulator, DC-DC charger, and then all the fuses and everything that runs behind the scenes. So this one we do use fuses. It's a combination of midis and then also your standard blades. Everything's very commonly available from sort of any servo out there. Battery that comes standard with this unit is a 125 amp AGM battery, but you can upgrade that to either 75 amp lithium, or if you really wanted to, you could go 125 amp or the 200 amp BTECs as well. So there's a lot of options with this one. All right, so as this panel sits, this is perfect for someone who's running a fridge and lights, so only DC loads. If we bring in an inverter, so this one here is it's a 500 volt amps, which basically translates to 400 watts. So this one here mounts exactly there, so it bolts straight in, the mounts are already there for it. This is an upgrade to this panel, so it doesn't come standard. One thing we can't do with this one, which we've done with both the Enerdrive units, is your CMS. So if you're going to spec the Weekend Warrior, we cannot run any remote GPOs. Your only outlet you're going to have is this one here. Even if we did manage to hook up all the CMS cable to make it happen, you're limited to 400 watts, which is charging drills, running a laptop. So can't run any microwaves, toasters, induction cooktops off this, it's too small. But you can do that off the big boy. All right, so I've rated the workshop, I've rated the smoko room. I've got a few things here to sort of show you guys visually what you can plug into each one of these chargers. So the Victron gear, so 400 watts, really good for laptop batteries, so chargers, or your power tools. So we run all Milwaukee stuff here at GCI Traytec. Got your M12 and your M18 charger. This is 155 watt. So if you wanted to, you could run a double adapter and then run 2 of these units off this one inverter, because you got 400 watts. That one there is what, 310 if you run 2 of them. So that one's a really good example of what you can run off a small 400 watt charger. All right, Enerdrive Explorer pack. So this is a 1000 watt inverter. So anything which is less than 1000 watts, you can run off it. Good example, toaster. So this one's 755. So if you're running this, you can't run much else off the other 3 points or any remote GPOs you have. So This is 1,000 watts. You cannot exceed 1,000 watts combined from all the current drawers on the power point. So if you're running this, might be able to charge a drill battery at the back, but that's about it. If you were to grab a sandwich press machine, this one here is not the best example because it's a four bread one, it's the big boy. You can get smaller ones which are 1,000 as well. We've got one downstairs, but it looked a bit rusty and not good for a video, so I didn't bring it up. You could, take your toaster out, plug your sandwich press in there, away you go, great for smoko, or you go to your big boy, your 2,000 watts. So this one here, really good example, was a heat gun. These things suck so much juice. Obviously you can turn them down if need be to run it off a smaller one. If you're running your heat gun, it means you can't run anything else. Another really common one is the induction cooktops that we use for the big 2 kilowatt inverters. The inductions we use are actually over 2 kilowatts, so you can't run both elements at 100%. You can run one at 100% and then keep one simmering, but realistically, you're in the back of a canopy, you're camping, you're not doing a three hat Michelin meal, you're gonna be nice and quick and not do slow roast and all that sort of stuff. So you're not gonna be running 2 induction cooktops 100%. But yeah, if you do it, it is going to trip the inverter, so don't do that. All right, so let's summarize everything we've learned in this video. Starting at the top, we have the Enerdrive Touring Pack, 2 kilowatts transfer inverter included with AC 40 amp charging, 40 amp DC-DC charge with solar input, Submarine, remote GPOs, or your breakers. Enerdrive Explorer, 1,000 watt inverter, RCD protected 40 amp DC-DC charger, ePro Plus, remote GPOs and breakers. And then finally, we've got the Weekend Warrior, which is just your DC-DC charging, solar controller, so an MPPT, the same sort of battery management system. This one's all done by Victron Gear. We've got 2 Enerdrive systems here. So look, guys, unfortunately, we don't sell these separately. They are solely exclusive to Traytec customers, but that is sort of a rundown of all of our units, the differences between them, what you can run off each one, and also the upgrades which you can do to each one of them, whether that's your top of the line one or as you go down with your remote GPOs, your solar panel, your batteries. All right, so that's gonna be me tapping out of this video. I'm gonna throw it to Tom now to do the Q&A, which we do at the end of all of our GCI Traytec videos. So if you guys are interested in getting your question read out by Tom or myself, make sure you comment below. If you enjoy this video, let us know about it. But yeah, here's to Tom and to close it all out. 3 of the packages that we offer here at GCI Traytec, the Explorer unit, that's the Tourer unit. Damn it. Overall, 3 out of 10. You had them different, they were around the other way last time. All right, I'm done. No worries.
All right, so once again, we're going to answer some of your questions that have come in through the YouTube comment section. The first one we'll do this week is from David Mill. It's a good question. David asks, what is the duration of each build once the client drops off the ute until you're picking it back up again? So obviously it's going to depend on the size of the build that we're doing. So for a tray only build, the process that we undertake there is obviously the vehicle comes in, we're taking the tub off, we're installing the tray itself, and then we're normally giving the vehicle a wash and doing some promotional pictures as well for Instagram and the other socials. We normally expect that to take around 2 days. Could be a tiny bit more, could be a tiny bit less, but 2 days is what we usually aim for with that. If we're doing a canopy, well, that's really dependent on the size of the build, because we obviously can supply everything from a completely empty canopy up to something fully loaded where we're filling every square inch for you. Again, depending on the complexity, you may be looking at up to 2 weeks with that for the very biggest of builds, especially if we're doing winch work and big electrical packages. So to answer your question in a nutshell, David, anywhere from 2 days up to around 2 weeks. Going through to the next question, Mitch QC7 said, what is the overall height of your canopy? It must be tall to accommodate the 130 litre upright. So we've got 2 heights of canopy. are domestic canopies for utes, so Hilux, Ranger, etc. 900 tall, and that's the same height for the American vehicles as well. So if you've got a Ram, an F-150, whatever, then again 900. We do a special size canopy for the Toyota 79 series. That's a full 1 meter tall canopy, and we make it that size again to match the height of the cab and match the profile of the vehicle as well. All right, and we're going to ask a question this week, guys, because it's been quite a long video. So for those of you that have watched right to the very end, just to show us, we're going to ask you a question to put in the comments section below. This week, nudge bars, yes or no? Anton's a firm no. I'm on the fence about them. We want to know what you think. See you again next time.
I don't know how you can be on the fence about nudge bars though.
They have their place on the right vehicle, not on proper four-wheel drives, but
Yeah, like a
no, if you've got like a, I don't know, you've got like a soft 4x4, like soft roader, and you just want a little bit of extra protection there, but you don't want to put a massive bull bar.
Do you know what is a nudge bar? It's the front of your vehicle.
Front of the vehicle.
That's a nudge bar. Someone said, why don't you get a nudge bar? I said, I have one already. Why would I want two?